Welcome to Ice Road Dumpster Running, guys. This is not fun. It's about 6:45, trying to get an early start, and it took a while to get everything warmed up. I had to get all the ice off the windshield, off the side. I hadn't used it yesterday because it was Sunday, and the day before that was New Year's Day, so pretty much everything was closed. Nobody was really running around, and once I actually got this thing buried out of the snow, realized it had a very low tire in the back. So before I start getting too far down the road, I'm at least going to get that one pumped up, get this first one emptied, and then drop it off to somebody because people still want them. I've got 3 drop-offs today. And then once the trailer's empty, I'll lift it with the trailer. I'll lift the tires off the ground, and I'll probably be changing a tire today in the snow. So it'll be so much fun. Some of you guys do this all the time, and I don't envy you. This isn't very exciting. All I'm worried about right now is hydraulic fluid freezing up, my diesel freezing up, my tires going completely flat, and definitely having to change them mid-run, and just stuff breaking. This is not ideal environment for anything that revolves metal, fluid, rubber. Nothing likes the cold this much. I don't like the cold this much. So, and I'm pretty tolerable of it, but it's a beautiful day besides the very, very, very cold weather. The roads are relatively clear now. Yesterday they're pretty bad. I'll be honest, my wife wasn't feeling very good, so I just hung inside with her yesterday. So my driveway is just this huge ice rink. Even when I walk on it or drive on it, there's no footprints, no tire tracks from my wife's Jeep, so I'm sure that's going to be a nightmare later. I probably need to get something over there and get that scraped before the mailman comes, because I hate that guy. Clear your driveways and at least your walkways for your mailman or your mailwoman, because can you imagine doing this, walking those and, you know, busting your rump all the time? So think about other people, all their other workforces. This sucks, but I'm glad I'm not them. Let's see what this day holds. Definitely not going to do a lot of vlogging today while I'm on the road, because within the first 10 feet of pulling out of my street and then making a turn, the back end started kicking out right away. And if you guys know anything about when your back end kicks out, nothing's worse than when your back kicks out and you have a trailer attached, because, well, things don't go normal. Let's just say that. And when your brake controllers are turned up too high, you're dragging your trailer. I mean, there's all kinds of things you got to think about when you're driving on ice. So be very careful. Air brakes, ooh, that reminds me. Or exhaust brakes, sorry, not air brakes, but exhaust brakes, when they kick in too hard or too soon and they start to slow you down before you're ready to, and then you start sliding. There's all kinds of stuff. So I'm gonna cut it off here in just a second. I'm getting up to the road that I need to start focusing on, and we'll see how the rest of the day goes, like I said. But today I brought one of my trusty sidekicks, Scarlet right here. This is the one with the long hair. She's practically a wolf. I've got another one. It's a pit bull. She doesn't like the cold very much. Great dog, doesn't like the cold. But all right, let's focus. Oh, first load took a while, but I got it taken care of. Funny thing is, there's Scarlet. There were actually 7 appliances in this dumpster. And if you guys are in this business, you know most dumps don't like appliances. But I got a place that I take them, and they only take them for $8 a piece, which is pretty sweet. And then once I get rid of them, I basically upcharge the customer, because obviously I'm the one hauling them and getting rid of them. So at the end of the day, I make a couple extra bucks, and kind of diversifies myself from other guys in town, because they don't even touch them. They won't even offer to take them. And if they're in the dumpster, they charge them a whole bunch of money, because then, you know, the dump usually doesn't take them, and most of these guys don't even know what to do with them. And that's their own fault for not doing a little bit of research. But you can get rid of them pretty cheap. It's just, you know, sometimes they're a little bit of a pain. Luckily, if you go to a transfer station or some other places, you can actually get rid of appliances, TVs, stuff like that, sometimes fairly cheap, and they're at the same place you're dumping, so you don't actually have to worry about it. I know some guys down in Texas that kind of do it that way, and some other guys in Missouri and Iowa. So I mean, it's pretty nice for you guys to get to do it that way. But otherwise, 7 appliances. This guy's cleaning out an apartment, and believe it or not, I'm talking to this guy about buying this apartment. It's a duplex right by the college, right by the hospital, and I'm eyeballing it hard because the downstairs unit could be this grand big Airbnb, and right now traveling nurses are huge in our area. Nurses are just fleeing all over the country, and they're doing traveling because they can get paid a crap ton more. I mean, a whole lot more. I also have a 6-unit apartment building right across from the hospital, and then right down the street, right across from our like medical center, our local medical center, and then down the street from our hospital. And I have a tenant talking about moving out, believe it or not, to be a traveling nurse, because she's a great tenant now. But what I plan to do is actually turn her unit into an Airbnb unit that I then rent out to a different traveling nurse or group of nurses that would be coming to our area. So the cool thing about that is when you're doing Airbnb, or you're actually just contracting with a hospital or a medical center, you can charge quite a bit more because you're furnishing the place, you're doing short-term leases. I know a guy in town who is legitimately, he has a duplex. One side rents for $900. All right, not bad for, I believe the duplex might have been like a $200,000 duplex. One side rents for $900. The other side he rents for $2,400. Same exact layout, same exact specs. The only difference is, he has some, basic utensils and pots, pans, a bed, a couch, not a lot, but I mean, 2.5 times the amount of rent, or whatever it is. And then I know another guy, he's got a 4-plex. All the units rent for $500. One of them rents for over $4,000 because of its location right by the hospital, and it's just a nice place. So anybody who's doing this kind of business, got that extra cash, don't just be spending it on your new cars, your new whatever. Be thinking about these long-term investments, because I'm not doing this forever. I am not going to be a Trash Man Millionaire. I mean, that's a cool nickname. I like Trash Man Millionaire, but I don't think this is going to be, this is funding my extra adventures. That's all it is. This is just basically paying for my investments for my retirement. My apartments and my houses, oh no, are going to be my investments. Let's figure out what this phone call is. Well, that worked out. I just booked another dumpster, actually 2 20-yard dumpsters for the upcoming weeks. So that's kind of nice. Outside of that, man, what I was just trying to explain to you guys is, don't let this just be this cash flowing cow that if you get into this, or any side hustle you do, nothing bothers me more than watching some of these guys who are just making great money, and then they're either not putting it back into their business and trying to grow it, or they're not putting it into long-term investments or thinking about their future. And you see them in their next YouTube video, they're showing off, a really nice car, a really nice house of theirs, which, I like my house. I like what it is. I could always get a better one, but your own house, it's an asset, but it's also a liability in a way, and we can get into that in a whole nother video. I love things that pay me back. I have one vehicle, it pays me back. I have one trailer, 2 trailers, they pay me back. I have, now I guess I only have 1 apartment building. Before I used to have 2, 3 duplexes. I consolidated everything, sold a bunch of stuff. Now I have 1 big apartment. I have a shop. It pays me back because I rent out space at the shop. I always, every time I buy something, I'm like, how can I make this pay me back? Except for my dog. My dog, it costs me a lot of money. All my dogs cost me money. But I love them. So, and my wife. You know what? My wife has a really great job. So yeah, she pays me back too. Love her. But you got to think about those things. Is this thing that I'm buying, is it just a want? Is it a need? Is it an asset? Is it a liability? Think about those things when you've got these cash flowing, jobs, careers, or, opportunities. I had jobs where I was scraping by. I had jobs where I was just making money hand over fist. And the jobs I made, money hand over fist, yeah, I would treat myself. You need to treat yourself, or you'll never really, you'll never really enjoy the money you're making. And you need to do that. Treat yourself with trips. Treat yourself with occasional, goal-oriented things. I know a guy who he said, like, I am going to own a Lamborghini. I'm going to own a Lamborghini. And he told himself he wouldn't buy one, though, until he was worth at least, like, I think it was $2 or $3 million. Like, he himself was worth $3 million. He wasn't making $3 million a year, but he was worth $3 million. And he lived in a very cheap house. He had a very cheap car, and eventually he bought a Lamborghini. It wasn't a brand new Lamborghini, but he bought himself a Lamborghini. That was his goal milestone. You have to have those things to chase in order to help yourself better yourself. Because here's the thing, at the end of the day, I'm really bad at setting goals, because they really mean nothing to me at the end, because I'm just chasing myself in the future. I'm not chasing my friends. I'm not chasing Elon Musk. I know, like, some of those things are very impractical. I am chasing a better version of myself. So if I look back a year and I was in a better place a year ago, I'm going to be pretty upset. But if I'm just going to be better and better and better every year, I feel like I'll reach some arbitrary goal I have in my head. Or maybe I never will, and that's the story of my life. I'm just always chasing myself, which, as long as I'm enjoying what I'm doing, I'm okay with it. But ice road chucking, guys, this is not fun. I cannot believe the guys out in Colorado who do this for several months out of the year. The Midwest kind of sucks. We do it for 2-3 months out of the year, but it's kind of on and off. Like today, it's in the single digits. Tomorrow it'll be 40 plus degrees outside, so a lot of this will melt. The problem with that is when it melts, so it might be single digits today, the next day it might be 40 degrees, but then it'll be in the single digits again. So ice is our biggest problem here. We don't get a lot of snow that we have to fight very often, but ice, it's just melt, freeze, melt, freeze, melt, freeze. Just really not fun for driving, especially with a trailer, because you could be on the road for, everything looks good. Black ices are not our friend here, because everything could be, melted on the sides. It just looks like it rained. But then, you're driving into the night. It's now, 24 degrees, and all of a sudden the road's just this big sheet of ice. So it's not fun. But we're taking this dumpster. We got it emptied finally, so we're gonna go dump it or drop it off at another guy's. He's a contractor in town. He went on his own this year. Support your businesses in town, man. I used him a couple times for some jobs of my own. Once he started using me for dumpsters, he was curious about what I'm doing. I was curious about what he's doing. So he's now, I don't know, this is probably his 10th dumpster he's rented from me, and I'm happy to work with him and bring it to him. So I'm headed that way to him. I'm gonna drop it, and then I'm gonna move on to the next one. I gotta pick another one up before the end of the day for sure, get it emptied. Try to keep these things moving. Gotta empty one, drop another one off. So let's keep her flowing. All right, y'all, on to the third dumpster of the day. Picking one up. Look at this, just massive field. Oh, I'm so jealous of the people that just live out here. One thing I like that this guy did, he knew that I was not going to be able to take a TV, or if I did, I was going to charge him more, and he's moving out of this place. So of course he throws it in my competitors, these guys are huge, dumpster. Got a TV in there, so I appreciate him doing that. But I've got the dumpster loaded up, or I'm loading it up. Truck is in reverse. It's kind of the nice thing when it's kind of cold or on an uphill. You can just suck these things in with the remote. You don't have to worry about, oh my God. Just kidding. Yeah, but that does happen every once in a while. But just gonna suck it up underneath of it. If you watched my last video, this is how I tried to get one of my dumpsters stuck out of the mud. It's inevitably really stuck now that everything's frozen. So I'll have to go back to that place here in the next couple weeks. I don't know. That thing's probably going to be there a while. I feel bad for the owner, but I told the owner it could get stuck if I put it there, and guess what? Got stuck. So it is what it is. But we're loading this one up, then I'm going to empty it, and then I'm going to take it to another customer. And actually after that, I kind of hope it slows down, because I've got a lot to do in the home front. Got taxes to work on. You guys know I'm a mortgage lender. Got a mortgage to work on. There's a couple of properties I want to look at, because it's all about the big picture. There's a couple got money burning a hole in my pocket. I want to go look at some long-term rentals to purchase, and it's hard to it's really hard sometimes. Cut off there for a second, but it's hard to decide sometimes, because I want that that quick cash, that stuff that just kind of builds up really fast with my business, or I want that long-term stuff, that stuff that, you know, I kind of let sit and make money, you know, my rental properties and stuff. It's nice to make money while you sleep. And rentals are usually that. It's passive income, but it's still work, guys. When you've got tenants, it's definitely still work, but it's all balance. Let's get this loaded up. Let's get it emptied, get it to the next customer, and wrap this up for the day. Wow, I need an electric tarp. It's just so obvious in the wintertime. Trying to walk the line. These dumpsters. I mean, that is definitely not ideal, people. My feet are so slippery. I'm just asking to get myself a broken ankle. My ankle is pretty messed up too. I need to go see a doctor, but you know how that is, boys. I don't need it that bad. But this is a liability. If I had an employee and I saw them doing this, I would lose it, because you don't want to pay for that. So I need to treat myself like an employee, maybe invest in that tarp finally. So spending money sometimes pays out. This is definitely one of those occasions where it definitely is worth the investment. Keep that in mind. All right, y'all. The road's a lot more clear right now. I think we're doing okay. One thing that's been kind of getting at me lately is a lot of guys, you know, they reach out for advice, and I love giving advice. I'm running out of a little bit of bandwidth lately. And somebody gave me an idea. Not sure if I like it yet, not sure if I'm gonna do it, but it was actually somebody that reached out to me and said, hey, man, I would love to buy some of your time. And that was kind of an interesting way he said it. Never really heard somebody say it that way. I mean, I have, but I never had somebody really ask me to buy my time. And I've considered possibly, rather than give, I feel like I give, and let me know in the comments if I don't. But if you go look back in my videos, how I started, what I'm doing, whatnot, I feel like I give a lot of free advice, but I've never really sat down one-on-one with a lot of people. Maybe 2, 3 that I've really helped out. A couple people I've had very long phone conversations with, which some of my buddies kick me for, that, you know, you're giving away too much free information. But you know what, it is what it is. But somebody did tell me, hey, you're in the business, you've learned a lot of things the hard way, which I have. Maybe you should start doing consulting hours. So I have considered doing consulting hours, not just consulting hours. One service in particular, a lot of people ask me about is, hey, where'd you get your website? How'd you make your website? I love your website. My website's one page. I've gone into detail in previous videos why I love the one-page website, why it works so well. I go into detail about why I price everything the way I do. So you can look back in my previous videos, but some people have legitimately asked me, hey, can you build me a website? And typically I just say no. I've done it for a couple guys. The 2 that I did it for, one was a very close family friend that had helped me on other fronts many times. The other actually gave me a killer deal on 3 dumpsters. I mean, practically gave them away to me. So I definitely helped him out with his website, and he's killing it over in Oklahoma. But I have considered the idea of actually building, and I'm going to call them replicas of my website. I'm not looking to be a web developer. I'm not a website builder. You know, I come from a pretty extensive, broad spectrum of marketing and advertising, where I've worked for very large companies. I've done social. I've done, Salesforce. I've done all these different like databases and all this other stuff. So, and I went to school for marketing, advertising, and design. So I did a lot of design work too. So I have a general idea of the marketing aspect of this business, advertising, and so on. So I've considered possibly doing websites. I'm not going to do them super cheap. I'll probably be a flat rate, and then any consulting hours after that you want to, tweak stuff. And my thought is that I will build you the website, the bones. We will drop in all your stuff to basically the template of my own website. I'll put it together, but then I am going to hand it to you. I'm going to hand you the password. I'm going to hand you the annual payment that comes with owning a website, the domain, everything that comes with it. I will help you basically drop and go, make the website, and then from there, it'll be yours, and you can reach out for any problems you have and whatnot. But the idea would be for me to build it, but not maintain it. So let me, and I mean, once it's built, I mean, the only thing you should really be going back to do is maybe adding a couple words or, you know, changing some prices over time. And that's all I've done to mine, which I love. So if you're interested, let me know in the comments. Like I said, I am not sure I even want to open this can of worms, but I would like to know if there's, you know, 5, 10, 15, 20, 100 people that would like me to do this, and I might actually schedule out time this year to try it. So let me know your thoughts on the idea. Let me know if you would consider doing it. If you're trying to get started, you're already started and you just need that thing that's a website, because once you have the website, you can get that Google My Business and you can really kind of be out there. So just consider it. Let me know what you think. Drop it in the comments. I hope you guys like this video. Ice Road, trucking, dumpsters, whatever it is. Just kind of a vlog today, but have a good one. Like, subscribe, follow, share with your friends that aren't trying to be competitors near me. Love you. So have a good one, guys, and I'll see you next time.